Hello, wrestling world, and I want the public to know that I've been hanging out with these two before we got on the air, and I feel, a real comradeship with these two already. I know it's going to be a fun time.
Welcome to AltJakeTakesOn with AltJake and George.
Hello, everybody. We are back. I am AltJake. You're listening to AltJake Takes On, episode number 48. We are finally back with a recorded podcast episode. Here with my buddy George, as always. How you doing today, my friend?
Very good. You know what I just realized watching that?
What's
Our
up?
AI images have better looking wrestlers than AEW does.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I always laugh at the purple luchador with the spray, because like body type wise, you can tell they did El Santo. Like it totally looks like El Santo, but with like the purple mask. I don't know why, but and every time I get a good little pop at purple El Santo.
I just have the image from Mike Bailey stuck in my head still. So
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No. Serious. That.
so seeing physiques on AI image, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
Him or it's Dan, and like he's beaten Daniel Garcia as like the worst body ever, because Daniel Garcia it's more just like flab and like his chest doesn't sink inwards. Like his chest isn't a freaking half pipe for Darby to skate on.
yeah.
Oh my God.
If you missed our good AEW review, please by all means go back and listen to that one. That was a
Yeah.
good show.
Yeah, no, it's a great way to get caught up on what they're doing on AEW without actually having to watch it. We presented with our take and our way of it, but in a fun fashion. And now we've got a decent good audience live every single week, so we can interact with them and put some jokes up on the screen and try to make it as enjoyable as possible, because they are in a rut right now. I don't know if obviously it's Tony burnout. He's been burnt out for a while, but I don't know if the other stuff that's going on with him and the stories that we hear with the Nicola Piccolo and stuff is it was wearing him down and getting him less sleep than he ever was. Or maybe I know Fulham's doing decent in the Premier League, so maybe he's pretending like he's doing something there. I feel like the shows are just they just don't care anymore. I just saw a commercial, or not even a commercial. It was one of the things during Dynamite. I'm glad you brought it up because I forgot to mention it on our live show, that the big selling point for one of the, I think it was a trios match. It might have been an 8-man tag match. It's one of those $200,000 matches for the Dynamite, the Collision only show in Tucson on Saturday the 7th that they were really pumping because it's against NXT. And like he doesn't know what to do. We're gonna make it for money, or like again, makes that an eliminator.
Have one good thing, one or two good things during the show, and then just crap after that.
Yeah, and a lot of times the good stuff will be like in spite of the booking, because you're like it still doesn't make any real sense of it, or just some of the promo stuff with it, or like you see what could happen, like we were talking about where like Brody King should beat Swerve and Takeshita should beat Moxley, and it's like if one of those things happen, that's a good thing. But I feel like there's a good chance that it won't be either. I think Brody King might. I don't know.
I think so too.
They both should, but there's been plenty of time. I mean, Takeshita should have beaten Okada in the tournament to go to the finals, but we are where we are, and it is what it is. and that's why we do a live show every Thursday where we watch the show and we both take notes, and it's the most attention I've paid to AEW probably since the pandemic ended.
Yeah, we give it 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes they go longer. That's I forget what it was the other week where I turned it on HBO Max at 2 hours and 28 minutes. Oh, come on. You just skip certain things, or a match is going to go past a commercial break. I'm like, all right, I will watch after the commercial break. I'm not watching before of a Moxley match. I'm sorry. They went to the outside. He made faces. They chopped each other or did the forearm.
Busted his teeth.
Yeah, I did bust
something new happened this week.
Yeah, I mean, I will give him the credit for that, where they want people to lay it in, but just I don't know. It's one of those things where with wrestling, like there's a reason why UFC never really clicked for me as well with it, because a lot of times what's real doesn't look as it's not that show, it's not that flashy or showy with it, and that's wrestling should be more about the show. I'd rather you have the build up in like two big chops than they were really hitting each other with their forearms. Okay, it doesn't really Doesn't really do
Yeah,
much for me, but that's me.
The forearm has gotten out of hand.
Oh yeah, it's like
In
almost
both companies, for that matter.
I'll give you that. I will say I have noticed in WWE it's not there's still that sect that's doing it, but it's not as much. I feel like there's one of those, maybe it's like Shawn Michaels before with NXT where they were trying to get rid of the thigh slap. They just because that's what NXT and like is like AAA and not like I'm not talking like AAA in baseball. I'm talking like minor leagues, like that's the developmental leagues, like that's what that's for. Get the bad habits out. Just no, you guys can't do this in your matches down here because I can't think of any NXT matches recently where I've seen a lot of that. I'm sure someone will put in the chat what it has, but
yeah. I can't remember either, for that matter. So
you got to nip that stuff in the bud when they're young. We talk about it all the time about people having in sports or in moving from AEW to WWE. You got to get the bad habits washed out. It's harder. I mean, I've been a recruiter. I've been a recruiter as a profession for like almost the last decade, and it's easier to train somebody fresh on something than have to retrain from old habits from a different company where they did the same thing but differently, or from a less reputable company or something. So it's just one of those situations that way if they just get rid of it. And I know that Shawn Michaels was big on stop thigh slapping, so maybe that was something. Maybe that was
getting crazy.
Exactly. It gets out of hand when it's in every match or in when you're doing it for moves that shouldn't have made a noise. Like you're not helping any.
Yeah, when you do it for a headbutt.
Right.
No, thank you.
Right? Yeah. No, there's time and place, y'all. Time and place. But
hey, before we start on WWE Raw and stuff, a little nugget came across my TV this morning that I thought I wanted to share with you because it really caught my attention.
Yes.
NFL owners would like a new TV deal struck before the beginning of the 2026 season.
Wow.
Think about the money that you are going to see being spent because it's all going to go up.
Oh, for sure. When was the last
Amazon for one game a week was paying $1 billion a year for that thing.
Good Lord. Now, granted, that's the Thursday night game, so there was no competition. So everybody is watching that. So it's a little bit more than like paying for a Sunday afternoon slot with getting one game a week. But still, oh my God. When was the last time that they went through with one of those? Was it like 3 or 4 years ago? Or I felt like it was more. Okay. But even still, like, it's one of those situations where you say it all the time, or they say it all the time. The landscape has changed, but it really, really has in the last couple of years with television, especially with everybody moving away from regular linear cable and TV and into the streaming worlds or even other services. Like, I mean, between what ESPN, Netflix, Amazon, you feel like because ESPN's backed by Disney, so just between that alone, and then you assume if Paramount is complete with the WBD deal, they're going to want to do something to you. I mean, that is going to be a legitimate bidding war. That's not going to be one of those.
There were games during the year that were exclusive to Peacock and Amazon only. Not only the Thursday night game, but a couple other games like Christmas. I think the Christmas night game was on Amazon, I think.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, because I've you see a lot of. It's one of the things that you see a lot of in like topical humor type jokes that you see, whether it's like, late night TV shows or Saturday Night Live or whatever. People are always, it's one of the jokes is how much you have to pay to see all the NFL games. And it's something that it's more new to Americans, but it's something that they've done in England for the Premier League for years. Early on in the Premier League, Sky Sports, which is like their version of ESPN, essentially, got the hold of the rights, and they make it so you have to pay for like their specific package and different types of things, and still certain games can be blacked out and like the 3 p.m. local starts or what. It's just
where do you think TKO is learning it from?
Exactly. No, it's exactly right. Like it's one of those things where it's like the Mr. Bean meme, but in reverse, where they're just like, hey, what you guys doing? I'm copying your paperwork. I mean, and you can't blame them because you got to make as much money as possible. It just sucks for the rest of us because how much are you going to
the NFL games are on NBC, CBS, Fox, ABC, ESPN.
That's all four major networks.
Amazon.
Netflix.
Paramount. Yeah, Netflix had that's the one. Netflix had the one or two exclusive games this year too.
Yeah, no,
that was the one I couldn't think of.
Yeah, no, and the only reason I remember that for sure because they had back-to-back games, and CM Punk was at one of the games, and Liv Morgan was at the other one, and there was other people I remember, but I remember like CM Punk in the pregame show was like on TV with it, and they were, and not for like just a real quick like glance, like he was talking and analyzing stuff down and. Yeah, no, it was that, and of course it was that that synergy, that corporate crossover stuff. But I mean, there's 4 major networks, and you name them all: CBS, NBC, Fox,
and they all pay for what they hope they can get. Like NBC got the night games on Sunday.
Yeah,
ESPN got the Monday night game. Now who knows who gets what? Who gets what? It's all up in the air,
right? And those are. And those are the biggest ones. Your Sunday night and Monday night are your 2 biggest ones. And I feel like it's in that order. I feel like Sunday night is bigger than Monday night anymore. From what I remember of like the biggest ratings, I feel like I remember seeing
Monday night ratings are friggin' insane high.
It wasn't one of the highest rated things ever, though, that Sunday night game at some point with it. I just know that Sunday
was the highest rated Sunday night game. Yes.
Oh, okay. Whatever. I just know that, yeah, those 2 are your big ones. And then the Thursday night game, even though it's usually not as good of a football game, that's not what people anymore. That's not what people care about. More people are watching it with gambling on the mind than caring about the game. You know what I mean?
The players don't even want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Thursdays,
no.
Healed up yet.
Yeah, no, exactly. Your whole week is thrown off with that. Now you do get that time between the next week and you get that time, but it still doesn't really work, and it's never going to work out properly for people's health, but they don't care about that. Why would they care about that when there's money to be made?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's almost, I mean, I'm honestly surprised they haven't decided to try to do a Friday night game too, just because.
Don't knock it out yet.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm just, I know they don't do Saturdays because of college, but once college is done, there's that period of time where they're like, we're doing Saturday now.
Just to give you an idea how much money's being.
Oh man.
The guy from the owner of the Dolphins sold 1% of the team. 1%. $124 million. That was this morning. I thought he was kidding. I thought he said 12. 124.
You thought the decimal is, you're like 12.4. Okay, that tracks in my brain. Yeah, no, it's insane how the difference, because I mean, you can remember when teams were being bought in the 90s, like for that amount or less for the whole team.
Jerry Jones bought the Cowboys, whatever year it was, 80 something, whatever it was.
It was the early 80s, yeah.
$140 million. Jeez. The team is now worth like $9 billion. I was gonna say closer to 9. Yeah, I mean, because they are, like, I know they're not even just in the United States, they're one of the top rated franchise on the planet, like up there with like, Real Madrid and Barcelona, which, the teams are worth so much money.
Oh yeah. Well, and the Spanish teams are worth so much because there's weird Spanish tax laws or whatever. So those teams are worth even more because it's insane with where that's gone. But I mean, they're money-making machines in that sense with their TV deals and the tickets they're charging and everything else with
it. Speaking of money-making machines, how about WWE? Huh?
Yeah, and if you have the stadiums, you can rent them out to someone like WWE and have that coming in for your paycheck with it. But yeah, we'll start with Monday Night Raw. I like that it just kicks off with the Vision being angry. Like they kind of just have to roll with this now. They're getting reduced in their numbers. And I thought it was also smart. Just don't come out to music anymore, because whoever's music it is, they're gonna get hurt. Oh man, maybe Danhausen was back earlier.
Didn't Michael Cole's on this, right?
Yes.
Didn't he say like the Vision's having a bad week, and then a little later on, Vision's having a pretty bad night too?
Yeah. No, it was Michael. It was Michael Cole. I think it's Graves.
Graves was really good. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Right
now.
No,
I like what he does with it, where he's the heel announcer, but not fully.
To a point.
Yeah, it's more of an intelligence kind of thing with it. And then I think they have to do that with it, though, because he's also the voice of AAA, which is good for all that crossover stuff, because Michael Cole just tosses it over to him. He's like, yeah, you fill us in on all the details, please. Then I don't have to.
I like him better than McAfee. I'd be honest with you. I like him better than McAfee.
McAfee's fine in small doses, like in a pay-per-view or a PLE or whatever, and here and there, but like week to week, there's just too much. He's just too much. Everybody's got that friend. You know what I mean? We all know that guy who's like, he's a nice guy. I like the guy. He's too much to handle every single week at every single event. Like they only can take so much. Yeah, no, 100%.
I like to see him only doing the PLEs, like you said.
Yeah, no, I think that would probably be
nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, no, that would probably work the best for him, and even like joins the other two or whatever, and how they do it. No, this is fun because you kind of knew it was going to come into leading out to the Seth coming out or whatever, but they send out the 2 decoy masked men, which gets rid of both Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and the security people, also that Seth can hit Heyman with the chair shot. Pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty good chair shot that he gave him, which, I mean, Heyman's one of those. I mean, you saw that when he took the power bomb from the fake bloodline a couple years ago. I'm not going to take that many bumps. Like, lay them in. Like, it's got to look good.
I was surprised with the chair, though.
No, that chair was good. The stomp was fine, too, but the chair was, he came in, and, like, you could see Heyman was kind of ready for it, but
he was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. The guy didn't take. I mean, he didn't take bumps when he was younger. It wasn't his thing. But I also like too that they went away and he came back with the blood on his face and they had him in the ambulance all bloodied up. I mean, Heyman can sell like a madman. I wonder if this writes him off for a bit or what this is going to do for it. Because I mean, he was in an ambulance, which was then we found out to be driven by LA Knight. What was it?
He went to a medical facility.
Did he? I don't know. LA Knight posted a video of like him driving around doing donuts in the ambulance, but I didn't see anything beyond that with it. But that was that was funny. And I didn't expect LA Knight to be in it, but it was funny where was it Logan tries to go get the car and Austin goes and runs like he thinks it's Logan driving the car and it's Jimmy. Like that was like you see when the car came up, I'm like, damn, that was fast. And then it's Jimmy coming out. All right. But this was fun. I mean, they had to get some payback on it. Division has kind of gotten over on both of them for a while, and it does seem like they attacked Jey Uso on SmackDown with it. But this was fun. I like this with it. This was entertaining.
Yeah, if they keep Heyman off, for a little while, that means the Division is susceptible to attack.
Yeah, and then it kind of leaves Brock out and is on his own too with it, which will be interesting because he's, we've seen what did we say like. He's not on. He doesn't. His next Raw is until the 16th, so that kind of makes a lot of sense. The Heyman's not on the next Raw, but then he could be on the one after that, or like Brock comes back and he's mad and attacks, and then Heyman comes back at the end of the month or something. But and Heyman will come out with like a cane and a neck brace and just disheveled. Maybe he'll come out in a wheelchair and show Stokely how it's done.
No, that'd be funny. That would be funny.
Right? Yeah. And then we had the, Gunther versus Dragon Lee match, which was, I mean, thanks for playing Dragon. Like
this was better than I thought it was going to be.
I mean, it was fun. I appreciate Dragon Lee for what he is, but like this was Gunther getting that ass whooping back for it.
I will say one thing. Gunther. They had me to the point where I almost thought that Dragon Lee might win.
If somebody else had come in and helped, I would have seen. Yeah, I'll give you that. Like if somebody else would have came in and maybe
even without that, I still was. I was buying it up until I was in.
All right, like, that's what they want. Yeah,
maybe I see what they're doing. Maybe he gets revenge for AJ. I can see this, and I'm talking to myself, going, "That can't be right." I'm talking to myself in and out of this whole thing. So
right, yeah, no, I get. Well, and I mean, hey, at least it was something for Dragon Lee because I mean,
yes,
he seems like he's a good. I mean, he is a good dude. He seems like a decent wrestler and all that, but he just hasn't. It's never quite clicked for him. And then you see like Penta and just. Penta's. It's kind of like Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams and Javon Evans. Like Melo came up first and he's done fine. But you look at Javon and look at Trick, and it's kind of like similar with Dragon Lee. And then you see Penta and Ray Phoenix. And it's like, oh shit. But
so what'd you think about the mask coming off?
I mean, I was a cheap way of doing it to get heat with it, but and then he had he covered his face.
There's a lot of talk about that.
In what that it was
all about the mask coming off of a Mexican wrestler. Like, did they really need to do that? expose him like that. Like they brought up Rey Mysterio from WCW.
No, but this is the same thing though, because we've seen this.
Comments. I'm like, oh my god.
No, because we didn't see his actual, because he was covering his face the whole time. That's why he was gave up and then put the towel over it. They've done this before with guys on both shows where they've had it where somebody tears off their mask and they know they're gonna keep hiding their face, so they cheat. So they're gonna lose. They give up the match so they can keep hiding their face. It's a cheap way to get the win. I thought it was more. That's why I was confused, because I'm like, yeah, it was a cheap way, but that's kind of Gunther's way of doing it. I'm just done with you. I'm going to do this.
Yeah, when I do a little bit of back research for the show, I'll go on and just take a look at some stuff. And I saw, was it right when Rey Mysterio got exposed? I'm like, this isn't the same thing. But whatever,
yeah,
people think they think.
Where Ray had to like take off his mask in front of Kevin Nash, and then Nash made fun of it and like, put your mask. That's not the same thing. Dragon Lee ended the segment with a towel over his head.
Yeah, I'm reporting.
No, that's good. Here's the thing: is I'm not surprised by it. I just didn't see it. But I also recently went back in because we're doing this show more. We're doing more live shows. I'm on Toonie Talk. I'm unmuting some of the sickos and people that I just had muted to cleanse, because I didn't have to think about it or talk about it. But now topics are coming up and people are going to ask questions with super chats and stuff comes up on Toonie Talk. So like I unmuted the word Fightful, and I'm still blocked by Sean Rossap though. That's funny. I'm not surprised, but they also then announced that Demolition, like obviously we saw it online. But this was awesome to see. I mean, it's one of those things where I keep seeing people like, oh, finally about time. I'm like, well, they weren't in good places until recently. Demolition.
They were suing
right?
WWE.
Exactly. Like I'm like, there was a lawsuit, guys. It's kind of like one of those things where like everything's cool again. So now it's done. No, it makes sense. Yeah, I didn't really get where people were like, oh man, finally, yes. Like, yeah, I'm like happy for them. And like, finally,
if you just would have listened to our show, you would have heard me say it'd be nice to have Undertaker call up Demolition, and sure enough, the next day.
That was I mean, Mark, hey, thanks for listening, Mark. You got tuned in.
That was pretty
good idea. No, and like we said with AJ, it's the perfect role for this version of Taker, because he's not the dead man anymore. He's what he is, and I mean that's why
he's not annoying anybody. He's bringing good news,
right?
Everybody loves that.
Right. And he's like the ultimate WWE guy to do that. Like he never left. He's respected by everybody. Like if anybody's going to tell you you're going into the Hall of Fame and it can't be Vince, because it can't be Vince, Undertaker's perfect. No, I love it. And I was happy to see them going in with it. It should be fun to hear their speech. I guess Crush isn't. I know people were asking if Crush was going to be involved, if there was going to be, but the picture's just the two of them, which
it's just the two of them. Yes.
Yeah. Although I do like that this does mean that now the Repo Man is a Hall of Famer. I love that. That's amazing.
Do they wear the makeup for the ceremony, or do they come?
I don't think so. I mean,
they're 60-some years old,
right? And that's the thing is, if they could just do it like kind of like was it Ultimate Warrior when he wore the mask for his promo that he did the day before he died, like that would be, because you want to see it for a second, but I don't want to, because then they got to go the rest of the night in their tux with the makeup, and let's be real, I assume one of them or both of them is probably a little sweaty in their old age. I mean, I'm sweaty in my 40s. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But no, that's good. And plus they're a perfect like mid-card Hall of Fame for the ceremony. Like the people love them, people care about them. They'll give a good speech with funny stories, but it won't be something that'll take forever and be too serious. And I'm happy for them.
Yeah, it probably comes at a good time too, because I don't think neither of them are in the greatest of health. So
I mean, with
this comes when it should happen.
Well,
not when it's posthumous.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the names escape me now. Not Barry Darso, the other one. Wasn't he like, that's why Crush came in, because he was in bad health then, wasn't he? Essentially, like that's, or at least couldn't wrestle because of his neck or something with it. But so I'm not.
That schedule these guys worked, and the body.
Oh God,
what they put their bodies through is ridiculous.
Like that 300 days a year was no joke, man. That was no joke. So AJ Lee is. These promos aren't good, and I feel bad to say that because I'm normally Mr. Positivity and nice guy and try to find the good, but Man, her promo before the pay-per-view was not so great, but I was like, all right, get the ring rust out and get the kinks out, and it's like
was she ever a good promo?
I mean, she was. Well, I mean, it was back in the.
Now think about it for a minute. Yeah.
Well, and that's where I was actually leading with it, is the sense that it was in the Diva days where you almost had to have that like specific cadence for. The problem is she's like stuck in that. So we saw the same thing with Nikki Bella before Brie came back, and that there's and I think it's just like muscle memory within it. She just needs to be more authentic. Like it was more where she's delivering it with a specific kind of pace and the way she was telling the story. You know what I mean? Like and the people want to care about her, but like you could almost see it was like hypnotizing them and lulling the crowd to sleep with it. And I felt bad for her, but I mean,
it was a little
I like what they're doing in the sense to set up like everybody wanting to challenge for the Intercontinental title, because that'll be a good match for her to have at WrestleMania. But
she can't hold it long, can she?
No, I think she probably loses it at Mania. I would assume that would make the most sense. Like she gets to go into Mania with the championship and then loses. I would think
that or wins a Mania and loses at Backlash, one or the other.
There you go. I keep forgetting that would make sense, because Backlash has been announced for Tampa the month afterward. That would work. That could have the Mania moment where you retain. And then,
just get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she drops it and takes the summer off because she's not on a full-time contract. She's on the part. Yeah, that would make sense. I like this with Chad Gable and Americano telling Penta they're doing the Zero Mieta thing, and then I like that I like that the Kaiser's got the cape now with it, just to let you know he's the evil one wearing the black. Like that just
the evil one here wearing the black is the bad guy, and the guy wearing the black in Mexico is the good guy.
Yeah. It's like the Bret Hart, it's like the Hart Foundation in the 90s, where in Canada they were the baby faces, and down here everybody hated them. That's why Canadian Stampede's the funniest pay-per-view, because they're getting Stone Cold's getting booed out the building in Calgary. I just like, this was fun. I also like Liv's promo where she was like answering back of like, I'm sorry you had to work your tail off and you're not as awesome as I am. Like that was good. I enjoyed that with it. That's because I got that they wanted to show some vulnerability with her and being sad after Stephanie said what she said, but she's got to stay heel at least through the pay-per-view through Mania. But I just like that.
It's amazing what she's done.
Yeah.
Just in overall, because I mean, you talk to anybody, even like Cornette last, even those two guys, they're like, Liv Morgan's like the best. I'm like, what?
She's a star. Yeah.
3 years ago, they were like poo-pooing all over her. Now, like,
she's got that star quality. She's definitely, and I know she's already done some acting type work and stuff with it. She's easily going to go into like, TV movies of some sort when she's done with this. She's just got a star quality about her. That was, I've heard Brian Last and Cornette, like Last was on the earlier than Cornette was with it, because he doesn't, women's wrestling is his thing, and then small women are on his list, is it? Yeah, but that was, no, you're right though, but she's won people over. And honestly, when they first turned her heel with how much over she was the babyface, I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work. And the boy has it ever. So
for her. She's really good at what. Then those shorts just keep creeping up, boy.
Yeah, the shorts get shorter.
Smokes.
They're gonna be a headband by the end of the year. Oh man. And then we had the Americano match where he's facing I think it was Rayo Americano. Yeah, the red one. I like Graves said it that way. It's Rayo and Bravo, red and blue. I'm like, thank you. That helps me, because I mean, I know it's Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne, but this was fine. This was fun. I mean, obviously they're setting up to get to Americano versus Americano. I'm assuming
I'm sorry, Jake. Doesn't Triple A have a big show coming soon?
They've got the Rayo de Reyes tournament one, which is a big show. Their big one is Triple Mania, which is like July, August.
Okay, so they're going to start setting up for that pretty. Okay.
I kind of have a sneaking suspicion they're going to have him wrestle they'll probably have him wrestle at WrestleMania, and Gable will win there and try to take the mask off and then to extend it out. And I assume they'll have whatever the blow off and storyline is going to end. I would think it ends in Mexico. I would think
it's
right.
It's amazing watching how much this is over in Mexico.
Right. I was just going to say, it is over here. It is super over. It is white hot over there, which is still the funniest thing. Like that's where that took and where that turned.
Yeah, boggles my mind.
Yeah, for how many people were so fake offended for Mexico, and they were like, "Fuck you, we're not offended. This is awesome." Like that's
yeah,
great.
they love it.
Yeah,
they
love
it.
Great.
They love singing with the fake grande. It's amazing.
Yeah, with Kaiser Grande. Yeah, it's great. No, I love it. It's fun, and I think they're doing well enough where they're setting it up for that to have it to where you can have a big match at Mania, but then have a still work out for it. And I'm sure something will happen at the Rio de Reyes tournament. And then you had the Penta promo where this is good. Where I like these promos where they let them cut it in their native language and you get to see the subtitles. Not saying like they need to do it for all their promos, but when you're given that like serious, I want to speak from the heart kind of promo, because Penta's got good enough English, but I feel like these ones work in that sense.
Yeah, if you're speaking, speak your language.
Yeah, exactly.
I can read. I'm good.
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And then you get the Judgment Day's first sequence where, basically Tom's like, you guys are gonna help me, right? you guys are gonna help me, right? And Finn is essentially turned baby. He's essentially doing what Moxley's doing, where he's the group around him is heels, but he's the baby face, like that's essentially what it is. It's gonna be a slower build with it or whatever, but he's clearly turning babyface, and he's even telling Dom like, no man, you got to do it on your own. And Tom's like, I don't wanna. I love that. I think that's great.
Does Finn go off on his own, or does JD come with him?
I'm not sure. I would think that they probably have
questions, Jake.
I know it's a good one. And when you say it, you would like, well, you could stick them together. I think it might be better for JD. Like they could have that as a feud. Like since Finn trained JD for God's sake, so you could have them have. True. You know what I mean? That could be their breakaway feud with it, a break off of it, out of it, and. Like maybe because I do think it's going to happen where it'll be either a triple threat with all of them at Mania, and maybe Dom then retains, and then JD and Finn can go off and do their own battle or something. I don't know, but
yeah, because if Finn turns face, he's not obviously going to be fighting for the title. I mean, he's going to be a mid card baby face that people are going to like, and he's going to need somebody to go. Yeah, okay, I'm done.
Right, I could see that, and I could see that being a great way to showing off JD, and Finn would put JD over. Like that could make a lot of sense. Actually, I really like that idea. And then you had Rusev on the desk just come out of screaming out of nowhere, which, we knew this was coming. This was setting it up, but this was a fun way to get it started where he calls out Oba and they just come out and beat the snot out of each other in the middle of the ring. This was one of those like, all right, we're going to lay it in safe places. Cool. He kicked. This was no joke. This was fun and sets up what we thought was going to happen. Oba versus Rusev in his first, real match, because he's had nothing but squashes since.
If you're in attendance watching this and you see this happen and then they announce the match for next week, are you mad?
No, because you still got to see physicality. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like that's right. You know what I mean? It's not like if you saw nothing, like if they didn't actually attack each other at all, but like they fought for a couple of moments there. Rusev hit him with the kick, and then Oba got him with the big move. So
I'd be disappointed. I don't think I'd be mad. I'd be disappointed.
There it is. That's a way of saying it. Where I'd be like, oh man, it'd be one of those things where like you want to see more. Like they keep you wanting more. And that's something where you can't. You kind of have to. Now you can't do everything for every show for the live audience. You got to keep some going for TV. And this does excite me for this week's Raw. Like that's the first real test for Oba on the main roster. And it'll be a big win for him when he beats Rusev. And I still don't understand why Rusev didn't go to TNA, but that's me. I don't know.
Yeah, we called that a lot.
And then this was where they were setting up for the Intercontinental title for the women's, and Bailey and Lyra both wanted to go into Pierce's office to talk about it, and Io's coming out, and then I saw right before we came on they announced this where it was going to be a gauntlet match for the number one contender spot, which that's actually great. When I saw the picture of all that, I'm like, oh shit, what are we doing, like a 6-woman match? What is this? But a gauntlet match is fun. That's fun.
Something different.
Exactly,
something we haven't seen in a while. Not so much different, but something we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, and it's not the same triple threat match, fatal 4-way. Like it's something different and gets a lot of people different work. And none of them are, you could have that match go for a good long while and be entertaining. And, if anybody gets hurt, you don't have anything hurt for WrestleMania. I don't want to be mean, but you know what I mean? Like, you're at that point. You can't be risking people in huge matches for just nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Before we came on, before SmackDown, the main event taping tonight, I guess Jordan Grace was injured. I don't know what exactly happened or what the extent of her injury, but that's what we were just talking about. And
that's awesome.
It happens, and it's usually, like we've seen, it's usually something
stupid,
not complicated.
Silly. Yeah, something innocuous. Like, you're not like hey, Bronson Reed knocked somebody off of a pin and tore his bicep. Yeah, they say it's not ballet. And then you had the Jimmy Uso versus Austin Theory match where, you knew Logan Paul was going to get involved. And then Jey Uso came back, but still had the bandage on his forehead with it. And I guess setting these four up to have a match at some point. I don't think that's the Mania match, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know where the Usos are going.
Yeah, I don't either. I think they're kind of planting the seeds where, I think the plan is that they're hoping that Breaker is somehow healthy enough to have it versus Seth at Mania, and then if not they're going to fall back to Logan Paul. All right, yeah. Then I don't know what their plan is. Speaking of things I don't know what their plan is, that's a good transition. The Demandhausens, I guess he is going to be on the main roster. Here's the thing. People are thinking I don't like the guy because I was confused during the live show when he came out. I understand Danhausen's gimmick. I actually liked him before he was on AEW. I just don't think it's a WWE main roster gimmick. I think it's an NXT and then working with AAA and TNA kind of gimmick. And maybe it'll be something where he's on everything. That's how they do it with him. I don't know. This was funny. This made me laugh with why is it soggy? Because it fell in the toilet. Oh, come on.
I chuckled at that, but
yeah, I mean,
I'll wait till you're done before I go.
No, but that was it. It's funny, but it's not great within that. The only thing that was good was Pierce passing him off to the Judgment Day. And then I was already thinking Penta might win with how they had him do that promo and other stuff. And then Danhausen cursed Dom, and I'm like, oh shit, Dom's losing. And
yeah,
spoiler alert, he does. But I mean, this. It's funny, but that's why it didn't really work in AEW because it's not a main roster gimmick.
I disliked it in AEW when I first saw it. And there's no reason I'm going to like it just because it's in WWE now.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's not it's not for me on a wrestling show. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
I totally understand that they're going to go crazy, and he's already number one selling shirts. I get all that, but as a wrestling program, he doesn't wrestle, and if he does, I don't want to see it because it's like watching Mike Bailey wrestle. Same concept, same body type. I don't like Cody Rhodes says. I want to see some jacked up guys in wrestling.
Yeah, and what I liked, that's why I never said his wrestling. I saw videos and stuff that he would do on YouTube or whatever that were funny, that was wrestling adjacent. And I always were he's a funny, he can do comedy, he could be a manager, and he can take bumps because he's been trained to wrestle, but I don't want to watch him in a match by any means either. And that's where it's AAA would be funny. TNA, you could do some cool stuff. But I don't know. We'll see what they do with it. This made me chuckle, but again,
they're going to keep him on. They're going to keep him on this main roster. He's going to go around cursing people on SmackDown and Raw.
Because the segment started with Pierce talking to Aldis, and he's like, "I'm going to pay. Maybe he's your problem," and I saw a tweet that he's at SmackDown, and good for him. Make the money, do what you can. It's just, I'm not 100% sure this is a main roster.
I'm just not the person. I've seen some people. WWE's got it figured out. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah, no, I get you.
You got the machine behind you. That's all.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those things where there are certain times and certain things where I'll watch him. I'm like, I am not the target audience for this. And yeah, I only am because he does a lot of Simpsons references. So I get those and I chuckle at those. But overall, yeah, it's not really the mostly for me. And then we had this segment, which was like the Rhea and Io like nice breakup, which we've been calling. You know, they had to get the titles off of them. They get to go their separate ways, and everyone stays a babyface. Yeah, because they're too over to have them attack each other unless you're gonna have like some knockdown, drag out, blowout match. But they were not. But good for them. Happy to see that happen. Yeah, we've been talking about that for a good while. But
I'm always amazed by the fact that they've hinted at the fact that these two are like together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've always I don't think so. I've never thought it that way.
But it's there. People
I think it's
there.
more of just like that they're like girlfriends and really close. That it's different because Rhea's so much bigger and Io's smaller, so I see where they come up with it. But I've never gotten that from it. But I know now, like Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa, those girls are having a scissor party, but that's different. You know, that's they're chopping it up. But that's these two. You know, yeah, this is just money. I think this is more that people want them to be because people are in love. It's one of those things where like most guy styles, there's going to be one or the other. But guys are going to like the big, strong girls like Rhea or guys like the tiny girls like Io. So to most guys, they're
neither. Neither. I don't like either. I don't like either body type. No,
that's fair. That's fair. That's
why Jackie Redmond.
I was just gonna say, and I was just gonna say that. I'm like, and that's why Jackie's there, just to make sure. Which was a good segment. No, this was good. This was a good way of breaking them up because Rhea's like, I'm gonna go to SmackDown, do well, and then Io's already in the mix for the Intercontinental title. Perfect. No, this was very well done. Like this was like we talked about. Like they were a team of convenience, and they needed to have a good storyline for them because they needed to be on TV and do stuff, but it was always going to lead towards this. And now Rhea versus Jade at Mania is a hell of a marquee match, and I'm looking forward to it.
Since you brought this up, what is going on with these two ladies? I've seen stories where Rhea, we think they're working, but they're really mad at each other. And then one said they had a comment about the other one and said something bad. And I'm not mentioning certain words because we're on YouTube, blah, blah, blah.
So I think it's a work, shoot, work, brother. I think because similar, and Dis is the one who said it. He's like, it's this year's version of Charlotte and Tiffany. You know, where maybe there is some heat somewhere back like in there, but they're using it to the advantage of the storyline. Especially with tweets, because like WWE, like we've seen, like remember when Javon Evans snapped back at, was it Ricochet or Swerve? It was Ricochet, and he called Tony Khan a crackhead, and then all of a sudden that tweet was taken down. Like I feel like if there was anything real, like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's what I think. We'll see, you know, if their promos get awkward and get where it doesn't look like they're working, but I think they're working with it, but I'm not 100% sure, you know, we'll see.
Like I said, I just was perusing one day.
I
got to bring this up to Jake and see what he's saying.
Nope. Yeah. I hadn't heard anything about it until Dis brought it up on Tuesday, and I was like, who, where, what? Because I don't pay that. Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. But it does feel, it seems to me, and it would make sense, like it's this year's, it's how they can heat up Jade and Rhea, because essentially, we've talked, they wanted it to be Jade and Bianca, we think. I mean, that would make the most sense, but it's a good topic, and we will keep our eye on. I'm wondering what will happen on SmackDown tonight,
which we'll talk about on Sunday.
Yes, that's a good plug there. Yeah, we will this Sunday, 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Alt Jake Takes On YouTube channel. Sunday Night Spaces, where we will talk all about this Friday's SmackDown and anything else building up into it as we're getting into the go home show for Revolution, and then Vengeance Day. Vengeance Day is on Saturday too. I knew there was one other show we had to talk about then.
Yeah, we'll talk about that, and then we'll have some topics. And I think we mentioned that with the super chat thing, if you guys want to bring up a topic, you can bring it up and we'll talk about it.
We will be very open for that. Yeah, it's a round table. Yeah, it's almost like a radio call-in show. Yeah. And then this match was fun. This is what you thought it was going to be. I mean, Penta has gotten a lot better in WWE, where he's not nearly as sloppy. I mean, he's still sloppy-ish because that's his kind of lucha to him. But I mean, overall, people love it. He still gets the crowd going for it. It's fun.
And it's not nearly as bad as it used to. AEW, but it's not even comparable anymore.
No, I was talking like when he first joined WWE, there was still a little bit
you could
here
tell,
and there you could see, but even that seems to be gone. No, the AEW, especially towards the end, where he was just like, I don't care. And I mean, why would you care? Nobody else is caring.
But he didn't. He didn't seem like he was really caring about the safety of his opponent. That's what was bothering me when I used to watch him. I'm like, it doesn't look like he's really taking the other guy into consideration. Here, you can tell it's clicked and he's taking care of his opponent, which I'd like to watch.
Yeah. No, I can say, you ever been there? We've all been there at a job where like you're the only one like I'm the only one actually cleaning or actually doing anything. Everybody else starts being lazy around you. It influences you. Yep. But good for Penta. This is his first title in WWE. And I think this is smart still too, because the longer you can keep the Lucha Bros away from each other, because once you kind of get them back together, you kind of have to go full hog with it and give them tag titles and whatever. So this is cool. I'm happy for him. I mean, he's had a pretty damn good year, but year and 2 months in WWE so far. So good for him. I didn't expect him to get out nearly as over as he's gotten. Like when he first came over.
Day one.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And again, that's where what you were talking about earlier with like Danhausen and the machine and the presentation. Like this is how they've done it right. And good for him, man. Can't fault him for that. And then you had the main event segment, which we knew was going to be awesome. I mean, you had Roman and Punk coming out. I like this, like vulnerable. I'm mad Roman, like where he hate. And I feel like that's something too, where they're using the real world to the advantage, where he can conjure up that hatred for Punk. Like, I don't think he sits there all day, every day thinking about him and festering. But if he wants he
didn't call him Punk once, did he? He called him Phil.
Not once. He called him Phil the whole time. And so I don't know if you guys listen to Toonie Talk Wrestling on Tuesday. Dis brought this up too on this one, where he's like, it seemed like Roman was trying to shoot a little bit and Punk was trying to work. And I didn't notice it until I thought about it with what you just said. He called him Phil every time, and Punk never called him Joe. He called him Roman every time. Even towards the end, I'm like, are you going to call him Joe? Because I think they wanted, I don't know. It just seemed weird. No. And I'm wondering if that's maybe building into the storyline of it, kind of where, Roman is really mad and festering and, Punk's in his head with it. And
I have a strange theory about that. I have a strange theory. I think Punk was okay with him calling him Phil. He didn't have to call him Joe back. I think he was okay with it because he got to say his departing line at the end.
Yeah. And maybe that is right.
Because there's no way that line comes out without him telling him first.
Oh,
no
God,
way.
No, and not even just for everything we know about Punk and respect. Like Punk wouldn't do that, and not respect of Roman. Punk would do that because of Roman's dad.
Yes,
his respect of Alpha wouldn't let him say that. Which we know that, and that's Punk, and that's why it did seem like that he was not. Roman was trying to be more angry and more saying more harder and biting things. And then Punk got the bitingest one with the last line. That was good. No, I enjoyed that. This was
set up perfect.
Again, this is the second or third time they've had a promo exchange so far in this. And yes, please, like this, you knew this is where it was going. The moment Roman won, I heard other people saying, oh, well, he could challenge Drew. He could, blah, blah, blah. No, it's going to be Roman versus Punk. Because duh. It's one of those things where like, because you can do this, you kind of have to, and it's perfect. And so,
and they do give you a good history lesson too, because they give you the whole Shield rundown and give you, in case you weren't paying attention, they make sure you picked up on it pretty quick.
And that is important too, of like, and I like too, where they can incorporate it where, because in the storyline wise, it was Punk that brought in the Shield, but in reality, like the Shield was being introduced and Punk wanted it to be Chris Hero instead of Roman. He was fine with Seth and Ambrose, and they've used that to their advantage too. So no, I am all for that. I was excited from this from the beginning. It'll be a slow match. It'll be old school. It won't be, there won't be any tope suicidas, and there's not going to be any 450 splashes. There'll be some kickouts.
Nobody choked with a chain.
No. And there'll be some kickouts, but they'll be like big. They'll probably be like 4 or 5. and all of them will be so important as opposed to having
Rough
12 and probably I could see being like I would see that like Punk moves out of the way from a spear, but I would think that they would try to have it to where they'll have a ref come out, but it's like a long, you know what I mean? Like I don't think it'll be that long of one.
I'm always leery.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, but I think maybe like Roman Spears the ref, that's an easy ref bump to do, and the ref is out for the match if he gets speared by Roman. Then
that one I can accept. Yes,
right. That's that's right.
If you're down after that, I'm on board.
Yeah, right. I thought when you said it, that was the first thing that popped into my mind was a Roman spear, and I'm like, yeah, I'd be out for that too, especially if it's like outside through the barricade or something. But but I think that'll be a very good WrestleMania main event that I am excited for. I very much.
I did get a real kick out of like again doing research for the show. People were like, Punk's last line was just over the line. It crossed the line. And now, okay, let's be honest. We all know what wrestling is. If you're going to drop a line like that, and I mentioned it a little while ago, if you have any respect for you just don't throw that out there.
Right.
That's not something you toss out anybody, no matter if you like them or not, right?
Right. Exactly. Because again, out of respect for Alpha. Yeah. But I mean,
I saw that. I saw plenty of that.
I did too. I saw a lot of that too. And it's one of those things that we've heard from everyone. Anytime that is brought up, where somebody brings up somebody that's passed away, where when Randy brought up Eddie, or how many different times Dusty has been brought up, or whomever, it gets cleared with people, and we know that it works. Where as long as the person is okay with it, and it's wrestling, you got to be okay with it. It's great for heat. It builds up. It gets people talking.
The person being mentioned that has passed away loves
it's
it.
over. Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's always my thought. Anybody who was really in this business, like every time Dusty's mentioned, he's up there with the smile, baby. Like, so,
they would have loved
it. Yes. No, you don't want them doing it too much where it's every single feud and every single time, but that's why this was perfect, because it did have that hit and that bite and that impact. And I thought it was great as somebody who has lost my father, and like, it still was I thought it was a great way of using it. Now, I've heard some people say like, oh, well, Punk Roman should mention Larry. I'm like, I don't think he needs to, because I feel like he's going at Punk he already hates him for who he is in the last 10 years. And no, I'm excited to see where the goes. I don't think so either. I don't know what Roman's schedule is though, like we do with Brock. So it'll be interesting to see how many shows Roman has before Mania. But I mean, it's one of those things where there really isn't that many. There's not that many Raws and SmackDowns before WrestleMania. It's coming up quick.
Yeah, it goes by pretty quick
every single time. And then too with WrestleMania will be great too, but then NXT's got Stand and Deliver, but that's coming before WrestleMania this year, which I think is smart.
Did you see the list of events for WrestleMania week in Vegas?
I saw a preliminary one a couple of weeks back, I think, but like I remember last year they had post events, multiple like post WrestleMania parties, both.
No, I'm talking other companies.
Oh no, I didn't know.
Dude, there's a list I should have got. I'm so stupid. I'm sorry.
We got time. We can get that before WrestleMania. That'll be a good thing.
There's a list out. I saw it the other day. There's a list of all the events, GCW, the minis, all this stuff. There's a ton.
I can't even imagine. I was thinking just like WWE sponsored events was going to be a lot.
No.
Because that's every year with WrestleMania, how the companies follow them around, the indies and around.
The minis have 3 shows.
Of course they do. I mean, I feel like Vegas, you don't have to be a wrestling fan in Vegas to want to see minis wrestle.
That's true.
That's an easy. Vegas is an easy town to get people in there for it too. And it's a perfect time of year where the weather's warm but not too hot. No, I didn't see that, but I'm not surprised.
I was amazed when I saw the list. It's like a whole page of small print.
Well, I mean, because I remember like last year, Stand and Deliver, like it did okay, but it didn't. And there was a lot of other shows it was going up against, and wrestling fans are gonna. There's only so many places people can be in the same day and at the same time, and with that much stuff. And honestly, I still, like I said before about it when we talked about it on one of the Spaces shows about Stand and Deliver being its own show. That's great for the NXT talent that can go and just like experience Mania as an observer, but like a behind the scenes, like you could see how everything really goes and is, so that when you get there, it's not as much of a shock and you're not focused on your match or like walking around WrestleMania Sunday beat up. No, that's exciting for them. And
I like them having their own date. It was a good move.
Whoever thought of that, really is
smart.
Yeah, and then two being like, and St. Louis is a good wrestling, like old school wrestling city, and then they're doing it in a decent sized venue, but not too big. So that's smart, and I'm excited to see what they do for that show. I wonder if my boy Myles Borne will still be the North American champion. I think he will be. I think this was a good move for him. I've been talking about him for probably almost, if not over a year now. That it just seems like
you were on that early.
Yeah, I mean they're just. Kind of like Trick Williams, were just there's something that clicked with it. For me, it was his sense of humor. Like, again, using his advantage. Like he knows he's deaf, and instead of like being offended by everything about it, just use it, be funny with it. And clearly he's very, very talented in the ring. He's got good athletic ability. And, for being a deaf guy, he can cut a decent promo. And then I thought I didn't realize they were going to do this right away with Ethan Page, but I think they don't have enough room on the Vengeance Day card to have the North American title rematch. So let's just do it now and have a street fight, but in street clothes. I mean, the fact that he got this high up in those, I don't know what kind of loafers or whatever wingtips he was wearing. Like I always impressed when wrestlers wrestle in street clothes and they're not in like, at least like, I don't know, Nikes or New Balances or something. When you're in dress shoes and wrestling, I always think of, was it The Rock when he did that sliding people's elbow under the British Bulldog on SmackDown in the suit when he was wearing the shoes that slid across the ing. That was great. But this was fun. This was a good little
at work.
This is me shirtless down in my skiff. He's just beating people up. George has some fun at work, guys. I have worked in I did work at a couple concert halls taking tickets and working security. But Myles got the win here. I mean, this made a lot of sense. Obviously they're putting a lot behind him. I always kind of thought that was what was going to happen with him, where he was on that cusp that once guys like Trick and Javon and Oba went up, you were going to have this next level of guys that were going to come in and fill those spots. And I'm glad to see him doing it. And again, we beat it to death, but Ethan Page is the perfect guy to work with when you want someone to get them to get over, figure out how to work. Like, it's just, he's so good at it every time. And
I've yet to
Myles Borne to the list.
Yeah. I'm yet to be 100% on Myles Borne. I'm there. I like what he does, but I'm just not all there.
I get you. But that's what NXT is for. That's why you're doing this here and not on the main roster. No, I get you.
See, what NXT's, we've talked about this too. What NXT's been doing is they're bringing in a bunch of beefy people.
They are.
And like Borne doesn't really qualify. You know what I mean? He just, they're getting me accustomed to a style.
Yeah, but he's also not like 5'8".
Oh, no, not at all. That's not what I
mean. No, I get you. Yeah, no, there is some beef coming into NXT with Jasper Troy and Keanu Carter. So some large dudes coming through, which is good. That's wrestling.
What I like. I want a wrestler to look like a wrestler, not like me.
Right. There can be some. It's just when it's everyone within that. That's one of the reasons why I never got super, super into the black and gold era, because it was just there were so many of the same. You know what I mean? You just didn't have enough of that. Yeah, I want all of them. I like a smaller guy that's got a lot of fight in him, but I like a guy like Gunther on my screen too.
That's why Rey Mysterio worked the way he did.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But you can't have 17 of them.
Right.
We had the Blake Monroe and Jada Parker set up here to have them for their street fight that they're going to have at Vengeance Day. This is good. I mean, I've heard some people say that they haven't really, they don't like Blake Monroe, or that she hasn't done well in NXT. I do feel like that most people that are saying that are not watching, because she's been fine.
And they're making her psycho-ish too.
Right. Yes. I was just gonna say she's done more character work recently within it. And I feel like a lot of the criticism that happens with NXT and with TNA, I think that people and fair enough to them, you don't have time to watch everything. So people just like see a clip and they assume. But I like this. I think it's good. I think Jada is very talented. I think she'll be a big star coming up, but Blake's where the money is, especially once JC's title reign is run and what they're going to do there. You need if you're looking for a bitchy heel champion, Blake is a good fit for that. Although I could see Blake easily going up after Stand and Deliver too. I don't know. We'll see. Another one of these.
I do like this little swing they're throwing at us though with this new kind of psycho.
Yeah, with like the hell character within her, where and she can play the psycho really well. She's got those eyes.
She has the eyes, dude.
Yeah, right. Those eyes are legitimately scary. I'm like, yeah, you stay over there. I don't want to. Please. Another one of these Tony fumbled moments where you have Ethan Page and Ricky Starks, or Ricky Saints. I will say, I have liked Ricky more just leaning full into the heel. When he was a babyface, it was okay, but And then when he first turned heel, I think he was still trying to be like a cool, cocky baby face. He needs to be like the smug, but oblivious that he's an idiot heel, if that makes sense. Like where he's flashy, but like, and he thinks he's super over, but he's not because it's starting to work for him more. And the content at the end, I liked it. It worked for me with how it was done, where he's going to get his comeuppance.
I hope for his sake it does, because right now I'm disappointed.
I'll give you that. It hasn't been great yet with it. And I think a lot of that does come to the expectation. We expected a lot. And that's
a good point, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, that's because we saw flashes of what we thought was greatness in AEW. And I still think it's in there with him, but it just hasn't fully clicked yet with it. But again, that's what NXT's for. He seems like the guy that will put in the work and figure it out. So we'll see. And maybe sticking him here with Ethan Page as tag partners or something. Like, I don't know. The more people that work with Ethan Page, the better everybody gets. Even Chelsea Green has been better since she worked with him. He just makes everyone better.
Yeah. It's amazing looking at him in this picture. He just looks like an accountant.
He does, right?
Like you would never picture this guy as a wrestler, and a damn good one at that.
Right? It's kind of like Miz in that way, where you don't expect it with it, but that's what you need in the business. You need people like that. We had the return of Nikita Lyons to tap out to Red Sinclair. I'm still surprised Nikita Lyons is still in the company.
She stuck with it. Give her credit.
She's getting better. She is. I feel. I don't know.
But she could have quit. Time
it involved. You're right.
She could have hung it up. She could have hung it up. She stuck with it.
You're right. She could have easily moved to some sort of internet situation and not worried about. You're right. Because she went to there was that point when Evolve first came around where they sent people down and then they released other people, and the way the stories were that I heard of it was, the people that were released was because they didn't want to go down. Like, what was it? The other guy in Metaphor, I forget his name, but yeah, because he didn't want to go down to Evolve, and that's fine. I get that too, but that's kind of where it's at with it. It's like in the Major League Baseball. If you don't going to take a minor league deal going into a spring training tryout, sorry, you're not automatically signed to the team.
Mm-hmm.
100%. No, this was the segment though where Myles Borne, where Joe Hendry was trying to make a joke. It was like, Ricky says it's gonna sound so bad, I'm gonna wish I was deaf, and Myles was like, "Oh, come on, dude," and then walked away and came and did the Joe spin around. Like, it was kind of rough in the acting because again, it's NXT, but like the comedy's there. The fact that this kid's willing to do that, and I like the idea of teaming them up together again so that Myles can get the rub off Joe Hendry because everybody loves Joe Hendry, but I like that. That was smart. I think this is fun.
Yeah, Joe Hendry's interesting to me. I'm wondering, I think we talked about this before. Like when he first popped up, everyone was like, okay, cool. And then I kind of cooled on him a little bit. And I'm still on the cool side because I'm waiting for something. I don't know what I'm waiting for. I can't explain it. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, I get you.
It's just strange. Like for me, I can't explain myself.
Well, and it's one of those things because he hasn't come out of the shell fully yet from what he kind of started in, but it does feel like that's kind of where they're building towards with it on him. But yeah, I understand what you're saying with it, but I feel like the more he kind of gets matches under his belt and defends the title and goes through stand and deliver, and it'll happen for it. This next segment, this is where they pulled a little bit AEW for me, though. It kind of irked me where they did this segment and then they had two like back-to-back vignettes. I'm like, come on, break this up more. I don't want it to go back and forth because you start to like forget what happened in the vignette before. Because I really like this where Kalani is like, I need to toughen up for my underground match against Lola Vice. I'm going to go get some training from Shayna Baszler. I mean, if you're going to get training for an underground MMA style fight, she's probably the smartest one to get training for.
She's down there training people anyway, right?
As far as I know. Yeah. I think that's kind of where she's moved because you forget because she doesn't look it, but she's like in her mid 40s.
Yeah.
Shayna Baszler's she was a real fighter before she did this. And she's been in this business.
Kick any of our asses in 5 seconds.
In 2 seconds,
I'm giving myself 5. Right. I can at least turn around and pretend to run.
Right, I can turn and make a step. I get but the way I'm not a super short person, but I'm not super tall either. But the way I'm built, I'm all torso. I don't have long legs, so I would start to get away, and she'd grab me. Oh God! Just tap. But yeah, she's because she was always someone that Triple H always got along with really well, and she did everything that she could within her career. I feel like, and she makes a great trainer. But then they went from this right into, again, this was decent too. I think Izzy Dane was great in this segment. Just back-to-back vignettes. I'm kind of like, you got to break it up.
Yeah, there should have been a match in between. I agree.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but it is what it is. They were set. Both of these were set. I got matches for Vengeance Day matches because the Underground match and the Women's North American title match are both on the card. So I get it. It's just, if I'm going to complain about it in AEW, I'm going to complain about it in NXT.
The women's match should be quite interesting, actually, because Izzy Dane is really stepping it up.
She is. It's kind of like what we talked about with Lash Legend before, where you just, you could see there was talent there, but then all of a sudden it just clicks, and that's, I go back to it before, but that's being an athlete your whole life. Lash played basketball. Izzy was a volleyball player.
Volleyball, right?
Coaching. Yeah, it's volleyball.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
And it just clicks at one. If you're good at taking coaching and trying with, your effort, you're going to figure it out. And she has figured it out and putting it together. And there's probably a lot to thank to Sean Spears for that too, by putting him as her in the group.
There was reasons for that.
Yep, exactly. And I like this. It just was back-to-back promos of it, but and then you had the 6-man with you got Hank and Tank and Shiloh Hill. I just feel like that's like your country frat boy goofball team, but you wouldn't want to fight those guys.
They're all beef.
They
are muscle guys.
They are
Jesus.
big boys. This is what you were talking about.
Yes.
The beefy sections with it. And I mean, look at the three. These are large guys. These are not guys you want to get in a bar fight with on the opposite side. Like, you want them on your team, 100%. But they're
Shiloh Hill's the smallest guy in.
Yeah, right. That's right. And he's a large. Look at the referee. That's one of the reasons I like this picture. Is like the referee is a normal person, and you got these other just hosses. Yeah.
See, that's what I want to see. At least if we don't have a tan, at least be big enough where you can get away with it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. No. Yeah, and tan will always look better, but at least if you're gonna be, let's be big with it. Lola Vice, this is how they're making the match, because with her MMA background, she would wipe the floor with Kalani in a normal match, but storyline wise, kayfabe, she's got a broken hand. I like that. That makes sense. It's one of the things I always like about WWE and NXT is they'll make things make sense. Sometimes they'll be a little bit cheesy, but
couldn't they just go to a real doctor?
Oh God! I mean, you probably could have, but
you said cheesy, and I went right to it. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. She was fine. He was terrible.
Yeah, I know.
He was god awful. You're right. This is where like being in Florida and not Hollywood hurts them. If they were in LA, they would have gotten somebody who would have been great for this. But here in Florida, there's only so much.
First thing I picked up on, dude.
Yeah, no, you're right. No, he was. Yeah, no, he was terrible. And I feel like I've seen him in stuff too. And he just, and then so Tony D still is beating up the members of Dark stay with it, and so I think I think there's a setup for the match next week. Tony D versus Dion Lennox, and good for him. This was fun. Again, we're very happy that it finally happened, that Zarya turned on Soul. But when this match was set up, it's like, well, this is set up so that Zarya can look strong, JC can fight her way back, but this is also that Sol Ruca can, attack Zarya and stop that. I'm assuming once Sol and Zarya wrap up their feud, that Sol Ruca goes up to the main roster, but maybe not.
You would think so, yes.
You would think if they're not going to turn her heel, I always thought it was if they were going to turn her heel, if she was going to be the one to turn on Zarya, it was because they wanted to get more work in and have her work as a heel. Having Zarya do the turn is kind of like Sol's where she is. We're going to bring her up as a baby face. If we're going to turn her heel eventually, we'll just do it on the big stage.
Yeah, I'm sure Bailey had something to say about it.
Probably. That's a good point. But
I looked at her on Saturday Night's Main Event, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yep.
It was her. Okay.
Yep. Again, like we talked about with that system, I mean, she just like why they had Oba work with Cody, you're going to have you work with people that know what's going on. And I mean, Bailey, Natty, Becky, there's pretty much not many better to work with for it. But I would assume that this would be, unless they want to if they're going to keep Sol down in NXT, then she'll face JC at Stand and Deliver and win the title. But I would think almost just have her face Zarya at Stand and Deliver in a grudge match, and then however they want to end that storyline, and then Sol goes up either the Raw after Mania or the SmackDown after Mania, and main roster bound. But we'll see.
The only thing they might consider changing with Sol Ruca is just too much gymnastics in the ring. Too many, too much of it. Maybe they don't want that in the main roster. We'll see if they bring it. I don't know. I'm just speculating because there's a lot of gymnastics that goes on during her matches.
It's a good point. And you want to have some, but tone it down a bit.
Yeah.
No, that you could. And honestly, what's the easiest way to do that? Have her be a heel, because it's more babyface to do moves like that, not as much being with the heel. So we will see, but it does.
I mean, I like her and everything. I'm just coming up with everything I can.
No, I'm with you. No. We like to cover all aspects, all bases. I always believe for pretty much anybody, the more time you spend in NXT, the better overall, because you're going to come out super polished and ready to go. Like, there's a reason why of all three that came up, Javon, Trick, and Oba, their Trick's the most overall. Like, he's got, like, Oba might have the physical, like the that kind of presence, and Javon might be the most fun, but like the total package, it's Trick Williams. Like,
dude, we called Trick Williams when we first saw him come by himself and he had the song "Whoop That Trick." We both said at the same time, we said that is a catchy ass song. And with the yeet thing going, I will bet you that "Whoop That Trick" will be easily adapted by fans. And look what's happened.
Nope. And like that, and from the moment he dropped the TNA title to Santana, we were like, bring him up. It's gonna be awesome. He's gonna be over. And we were right.
Yeah, I think we said that on a live show, I believe.
Yeah. Because
speaking of which, what do we do live, by the way?
This Thursday night at 8:30 or 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be on our AEW Dynamite review, where we watch the show so you don't have to. Every single Thursday, we review every segment, vignette, interview. It's sometimes they're good, but we will
production errors,
good, bad, the many production errors, good, bad, ugly. We'll watch all of Dynamite and report it back to you guys every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, and then every Sunday at 8:05 p.m. Eastern, we do our Sunday Night Spaces, which is our true roundtable discussion show. This Sunday we'll cover SmackDown and Vengeance Day. And then we've got super chats open now. So chat in with your questions and stuff you want us to talk about. The more you guys chat in, the more super chats come in. We'll talk about it, whatever you guys want us to. That's really our roundtable discussion show. And so,
and if you ever,
Sunday will be our 1 year anniversary of Spaces, which is
special
insane.
plans for that.
That's insane that we've gone that long already.
But if you're listening to the show, the pre-recorded show, and you don't come to the live show because maybe you don't like it or don't want to take it, come into the live show, because the live chats, it's not okay. We're not huge. It's not a huge live chat, so it's not a community yet. It's more of a village.
It's like a fun little group. Yeah.
We're getting there. But when you come in, you don't have to like us. Just be respectful. But when everyone comes in, anybody that's modding at the time, whoever mod, they welcome you into the group. They say hi.
No gatekeeping. No gatekeeping.
Everyone says hello, and you just go along and have your fun. Live shows are fun, actually.
Yeah. No, they've been a lot more fun than we were expecting them to be, and a lot of that is due to the crowd being inviting and fun with it, and engaging and cracking jokes with it and talking along. And we try to be as engaging and involved as possible, and leave comments too on the videos afterwards too, whether it's the live show or the recorded podcast. We try to respond to those, and sometimes we hear good topics from folks or whatever with it. We are very interactive, and we're still growing, and we haven't figured all this out yet. We're still having fun.
So you don't have to agree with everything we say. Just don't come into the chat and go, "These guys are freaking idiots." Just present your point, because we've had this happen before on the Spacious shows. It's nothing new. You can come in, you can disagree. Just don't. We talked a couple people down from the ledge and got them to talk to us, and we're fine. It works out.
Respectful. Because we're here for other points. We don't agree on everything. It'd be boring as shit if we did. It's more fun to be interactive and have discussions. That's why it's a discussion. It's a conversation show. That's why I say it's a wrestling roundtable. We really will talk about anything with it. All opinions are welcome, especially if you have the opinion. Don't just be like, oh, it's because that match sucks. I don't like it. Well, why? Because it was terrible. Well, no, I need more. Give reasons. I like this part about it, or I didn't like that. We'll tell you what we like and what we did like, and give reasons before it. It's fun. It's a good time. And then every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Toon Wrestling, you can catch me and Dis and Awful for Toonie Talk Wrestling every Tuesday at 8 p.m. at youtube.com/@Toon Wrestling. So yeah, I've got 3 live shows a week. So you can, I'm all over the place. I'm happy to have fun and come hang out. We make it fun. It's a lot of laughs. I end up laughing a lot more than I ever used to, and that's the best part of all this. Speaking of laughing, the Ricky Saints absolute experience. This was funny in the sense, this is what I mean, where Ricky can be oblivious, where he still thinks he's super cool guy and dresses in the expensive stuff, but is kind of a yutz and gonna get his comeuppance, and that's what this was. I liked it where he was had to explain his jokes and explain his rhymes to people, because if you have to explain the joke, it's not funny. That's right. Kind of what kills the joke, and that I liked with the part of it, and you kind of knew it was gonna. I assumed immediately when I saw the stagehand messing with the mic, I'm like, that's Joe Hendry. And sure enough, it was. And he gave him the old Jake the Snake Roberts honky tonk man to the back.
Whenever you see a guitar in WWE,
yeah,
it's not good.
It's not, yeah.
Bad things are going to happen.
It's yeah. Jeff Jarrett, Honky Tonk Man set the precedent, and Jeff Jarrett took that right all the way through, and that's just made continually where, there's guitars, weddings, there's certain situations that are always just going to end in that type of comedy and fun with it. But this was cool where the Vandy Project comes out to help Ricky Saints, which makes sense because the Vandy Project are kind of in that same vein of pretty boy dopes where, they're kind of like Zoolander, where they think they're awesome and really cool, and they dress super nice, expensive clothes, but they're idiots. Yeah, and then Myles Borne comes out and helps Joe.
They have this interesting dynamic going now, which I'm noticing more and more as we're going through this. We just talked about a little while ago. You got your big guys and you got your average size wrestling guys. You got a big crop of people coming up, and you got a medium-sized crop coming up. There's no in between. Either you're huge or you're just average.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, and those big guys are big too.
Yes.
So, yeah. And Joe Hendry's a decent sized guy. He's not quite huge, but he's a pretty big guy. He wrestled Greco-Roman wrestle for Scotland.
You stood next to him.
Yeah, no, he's a pretty big guy. He's thicker than you realize too. He's not super tall, but he's pretty thick. But yeah, this kind of seems like this is going to be Joe Hendry and Myles Borne versus Ricky Saints and Ethan Page in a match. I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after with it building up so that because obviously Ricky Saints versus Joe Hendry is the main event of Stand and Deliver. I kind of see that's where that would be. That makes the most sense. Those are your two biggest names that they've got, I would think, at this point. And they're building towards that. I would assume that's probably where Ethan Page and Myles Borne have another match for the North American title, but we will see. I don't think they've announced anything for Stand and Deliver quite yet.
except for that it's in St. Louis at the what's it called? The venue that's called the Factory at the District.
No,
I've heard that place holds like 5,000 people from Dis, and then our boy Anthony, who's always in the chat and hanging out. They both live in Missouri. So
okay, so I have a question for you. Now that everyone's been called up to WWE, all Trick and everybody else got called up, and we have a new crop of people in NXT. How do you think Sean's doing?
Oh, I mean, like I think he's doing exceptionally well.
This is difficult to do.
Yeah, no, it is because like he's presented because he's have so many people, whether it is the big guys or the smaller guys, and the people that are either new to the company as a whole because they're either NIL talent or recently signed, and then the Evolve people too, mixing them all into the show. You know, the Vandy Project, I mean, they showed up and were part of the show pretty much from day one, and Sean Legacy too. And it was a complete retool job. I mean, when you think of Trick, Oba, and Javon, they were in either between the three of them, they were either in 3 separate or 2 separate matches on pretty much every NXT PLE and most regular NXT shows for the last year. So it's not even like you have to change part of the cast. You're changing the cast at the top of the pyramid. It was a major shakeup with it. And
thus the question.
I think it's been great because honestly, it took a couple of, what was it, like 3, maybe 4 weeks where there was a little bit of shakeup and growing pains. But I felt like this week's NXT was great and flowed through, and everybody felt like they were where they should be. And it didn't seem like anybody was like, introducing themselves and getting their character over. Like, we know who you are. You're setting this up. You even had like Jasper Troy, challenge back into Eli Knight, and I forget the other guy because he's gonna murk both of them because he wants to get his speed title back. Like, there's a lot going on in storyline. They've retooled and reset, and they're moving forward, kind of, full gear again, building up towards Stand and Deliver because it is April 4th. So they've got a month.
You know how I noticed, because when we do our reviews, you were like, well, NXT was just kind of there this week, and it happened like 3 weeks in a row. And I'm like, okay, I've been watching too, and I'm like, okay,
yeah. Because
then this week, week everyone's like, because that's so hard to do.
It is.
You lose everybody that you have on TV, your main stars, and you got to reintroduce everybody to the crowd. Make sure they get over with the crowd. Give them TV time. Have them established. You know what I mean? It just keeps going.
Well, and like Sean already had to do this on the ladies' side. What was it last year when Julia and Stephanie both went up at the same point? Like, and that's why I always compare it. Yeah, and that's why I always make the comparison to college sports and like a great college program that, you're only going to have your best players for 2, maybe 3 seasons, and then they're going up, and that's where you've got to be able to.
I'm sorry, it's actually best to compare it to college basketball. Because basketball, you're only required to spend 1 year, and you can
right. No, that's why I just said. That's why I was saying college sports in general, because it is basketball and football. Where some players, some guys might stay there a bit longer and run through. And especially, and basketball is a good way where you'll see those guys who play to their senior year because they know maybe they're not going to be as big, or maybe make it to the pros, or maybe they'll go pro in Europe or something. So they want the college experience of it, but you've got to be. But the point of being able to retool from that programming point of we're putting on a good show, we're winning games, we're winning titles, but then we're going to lose half this roster, and then we got to do it again next season. You've got to be able to fill in the pieces. And Sean and that team, obviously they've got a great coaching staff, and who wouldn't want to work for Sean? Like, it's one of those things where when Shawn Michaels is telling you what to do, you're like, yes, sir. Okay. Especially this Sean. It's not, it's not 97 Sean that's on drugs and
that wouldn't even work.
Yeah. Right. No, it's just, he really has changed and grown and has really blossomed in this position. And then he's always got Triple H to fall back on too, if he needs the help with it. So no, I've been very impressed with it. And no, NXT, even the week before when Myles won, like that was where it felt like, okay, we've established ourselves. By the end of that episode, they were like, okay, we're back, we're moving forward, and here's to 2026, and good for them. I'm excited to see what they do.
HBK's got pretty much 100% control. He doesn't have to run anything past Hunter, does he?
No, I just meant like if he wants help.
No, I'm asking you a general question because I think he's got like 100% control.
To my knowledge, yes, I would assume maybe there might be certain people where like, like maybe Jasper Troy or Keanu Carver or Shiloh Hill, they're like, it's part of the conversation where it's known, like we're making sure this guy gets super over, don't have him lose stupidly, or you know what I mean?
Sean knows that.
Right, exactly. I was to say, but so that because of that, then I would say yes, he probably has 100% control because he's not an idiot. He knows, he knows what the company's invested in and who they want to push. And it's been great. And that's where you see people like Ethan Page and JC Jane that have been there for a while, but for good reasons, and how many people have worked with them and only gotten better and more over. I mean, the list is long and full of stars. So.
Anybody with a rational mind can obviously tell that Shawn Michaels is definitely the booker of not the year, but just everything. He's just good at what he does, and he just proves it time and time again.
Yeah.
I don't like telling people they're great, but he really does a great job at what he does.
Yeah.
And what he's there for.
And he's also doing it with people because, part of it with the main roster, well, he's like with Roman and Punk, you just send them out there and like get your match over or whatever. You don't have to do too much. Like Sean's got to get in there with a lot of those guys and make sure the promos are good and the exchanges are good and the segments are good. On the main roster, they don't have nearly as much of that because they've got stars and professionals and veterans. So that's the other part of it of why it's so damn impressive.
Yeah, the main roster's got 15 people in the writing room. Sean's probably in there with 3 other guys.
Right. Yeah. And the main roster's got wrestlers in their 40s who've been doing it for 20 years. Sean's like, I think the most experienced person in NXT is Ethan Page and he's what, like 33. So you
got people in there that are nervous about going on.
Yeah, totally. And the whole gamut.
I'm glad we got me to watch it.
Me too. It was one of the first main goals of the channel, and we got that working through. The next goal is 1,000 subscribers. We are officially at 510. So if you're listening and you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It costs you absolutely nothing. It helps us out immensely. And be sure to tune into the live shows on Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Sundays at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Anything else you wanted to get into today, George? Any other topics?
No, Sunday's show will be good. We'll talk about SmackDown and Vengeance Day, and then I think I have a contest to announce and stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah, because we are officially at 500 subscribers, and we want to thank each and every one of you who has subscribed and all of you who will. We appreciate you. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
We appreciate you making it to the end of the video. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you.